Welcome to this explainer. Society often tells you to just get over cheating, treating it like your standard run-of-the-mill breakup. But today, we're diving into the hard science of what infidelity actually does to the human body and mind. It goes way beyond just a broken heart. We're talking about a full system shock that literally alters your biology. So, is cheating really just a broken heart? Well, people on the outside might casually tell a betrayed partner to just move on, acting like it's simply a matter of feeling sad for a little while. And sure, from the outside, you might look completely fine. You're still going to work, you're paying the bills, putting on that brave face. But on the inside, you are spiraling. We're going to explore why a betrayed partner isn't just dealing with sadness, but a literal biological crisis where they might truly feel like they're going nuts, even while everyone else thinks they're just overreacting.
It all starts with betrayal trauma. When a fundamental bond of trust is broken, it completely short-circuits our neurobiology. The brain activates regions associated with social pain, and here's the kicker, that registers exactly like physical pain. So if you feel like you've been physically punched in the gut or violently struck after discovering infidelity, you aren't imagining it. You're not being overly dramatic. Your brain is literally processing the betrayal as a severe, life-threatening physical trauma.
Here's our agenda for today. We'll cover the anatomy of betrayal, why you are definitely not crazy, the hormonal storm it triggers, long-term health consequences, radical honesty and disclosure, and finally, pathways to healing.
Section 1. The Anatomy of Betrayal. Shattering the Foundation.
It is a staggering reality that 30 to 50% of survivors meet the diagnostic criteria for post-traumatic stress disorder within the first year of discovery. Really think about the gravity of that. Up to half of the people who experience partner infidelity are enduring clinical trauma levels that are identical to those who've survived combat or natural disasters. It's not just some emotional hurdle. It is a devastating, clinical, psychological injury.
Now, while it isn't an official DSM diagnosis, post-infidelity stress disorder, or PISD, perfectly mirrors classic PTSD. It completely explains the hypervigilance. Why a betrayed partner obsessively checks messages, tracking locations, desperately searching for safety in a world that suddenly feels incredibly unsafe. It explains the vivid nightmares, the emotional numbing, and those intrusive thoughts that play the betrayal on a continuous loop. People looking in might think they're acting paranoid, but their nervous system has been completely hijacked to scan for threats 24/7.
Section 2. You are not crazy. The neurobiology of betrayal.
If you've been cheated on and feel like you're completely losing your mind, well, your biology has literally been hijacked. Research shows the brain's emotional response center is radically altered. Heightened amygdala activity takes over, putting you in a state of primal animalistic panic, while your rational prefrontal cortex basically just shuts down. Think about what this means. The person who is supposed to be your ultimate safe haven is suddenly processed by your brain as a dangerous, active threat. Your entire neural network rewires your attachment into suspicion and survival. So you are not crazy. This is a normal, hardwired biological response to an abnormal, devastating situation. Infidelity is a true biopsychosocial trauma. Psychologically, we're talking intense mood swings, bouts of uncontrollable rage, and a profound, shattering loss of self-worth. But physically, the toll is just as severe. The body reels with compromised immunity, unexplained fevers, brutal gastrointestinal issues, and debilitating headaches. Basically, the mind and the body are breaking down simultaneously under the immense weight of the betrayal.
Section 3. The hormonal storm, when the body keeps the score.
This all comes down to a dysfunctional HPA axis. This is your body's stress response system, and the betrayal essentially locks it in the on position. It constantly floods your system with cortisol, that fight-or-flight hormone, causing a condition called hypercortisolemia. Imagine a fire alarm going off in your house, but you literally can't ever turn it off. Your body thinks it's constantly fighting for its life, which practically destroys your immune system and makes it utterly impossible to sleep, relax, or just feel safe in your own skin.
And this physical panic is heavily worsened by something called trickle trauma. This is what happens when the unfaithful partner drips out the truth in tiny, agonizing pieces over time, rather than confessing everything right away. Maybe they say it was just texting, but a month later they admit to meeting up, and then later admit it was physical. Every single new disclosure acts as a brand new betrayal. It completely resets the clock on the trauma, repeatedly restarting that physiological panic and preventing the brain from ever having a chance to calm down and actually heal.
Section 4. Long-term health consequences, the hidden costs of staying. Now, most people end up leaving these situations, so we don't always see the longest-term impacts. But if a spouse actually chooses to stay without the couple doing the massive work required for proper repair, the betrayed partner faces severe, permanent medical consequences. Over months or years of unresolved stress, that continuous flood of cortisol does permanent damage. We're talking about a significantly higher risk for cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, blood clots, and aneurysms. We see the development of severe autoimmune disorders, and even an increased possibility of getting cancer due to profound immune failure. Untreated, this spirals into severe clinical depression, substance abuse, and self-harm. Not to mention the direct, very real physical risk of STDs from the infidelity itself, including diseases like hepatitis C.
Section 5. Radical honesty and disclosure. The blueprint for rebuilding.
Healing starts here. If a couple is going to survive, the unfaithful partner must take radical accountability with absolutely no defensive arguments. The mindset has to be, I screwed up, I hurt my spouse, and I will do everything in my power to prove that I am safe again. The burden is entirely on the betrayer to provide a comprehensive account with zero secrets to stop the trickle trauma dead in its tracks. They have to truly want to heal their partner and validate their feelings without any blame shifting. Consistency and patience are key, understanding that healing is absolutely not linear.
And these aren't arbitrary rules, they are actionable safety measures. This isn't phone tapping out of paranoia, it is consensual monitoring provided willingly by the unfaithful partner to say, I am safe and I will prove it to you. We are talking about 110% financial transparency down to the penny, leaving no room for secrets. The phone locks come off, and consensual monitoring goes on for no less than 1 year. And there are no arbitrary end dates where you just say, okay, 3 months are up, give me my privacy back. That's not how it works. Any circumventing of these controls, turning tracking off, deleting messages, means game over. It's an instant violation of trust, basically just cheating again, so we don't mess around with this.
Section 6. Pathways to healing. Professional trauma-informed care.
Even with radical honesty, healing requires professional guidance to stabilize the spouse who has been completely shattered. Evidence-based therapies like CBT and EMDR are required to calm the amygdala and process the severe PTSD symptoms. Somatic experiencing is especially vital because, as we've learned, the body literally traps and keeps the score of this betrayal. Professional help allows that physical tension and trauma to finally be released.
I'll leave you with this final thought. Healing is actually possible. In some weird, sick, almost ironic way, if both partners face the neurobiological reality of the betrayal and do the incredibly hard work of radical transparency, this crisis can actually become the opportunity of a lifetime. Over time, a year, 2 years down the road, a relationship can emerge more honest, deeper, and stronger than ever before. But if you don't do it right, it will absolutely destroy the relationship, or it will destroy the people within it, leaving both parties miserable forever. It demands total accountability. Will you acknowledge the science of this trauma and take the radical steps necessary to truly heal? Thank you for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this provided some deep clarity on the truly shattered reality of infidelity.